Welcome to DBL. It is Monday, June 8th. I'm Tori here with Jeff, and of course Al joins us from home. This is a crazy scene that we saw over the weekend. We saw some of the largest peaceful protests yet all over the nation, including in Washington, D.C., where the street leading to the White House was painted with Black Lives Matter in giant yellow letters. I want to let people know what that was, just so you know, because we never explained it. That was, I believe, in England, and they were rolling a statue of a slave trader, into the bay, into the water, and pushed it into the water. I wanted to give some context to what we were seeing here. Demonstrations over George Floyd's death also spread all over the world, in London, Milan, Brussels, Australia. A lot of focus here in America has now been on defunding the police. The mayor in Minneapolis was greeted with chants to go home by protesters after he rejected calls to defund the police there. And we're going to explain what defunding the police means, because it's not disbanding the police. That's very important to say. But later on Sunday, a veto-proof majority of the Minneapolis City Council pledged to defund and dismantle the city's police department. But the mayor still doesn't agree. Here's what he said about it this morning on Good Morning America.
Am I for entirely abolishing the police department? No, I'm not. I support people expressing their First Amendment rights, even when it means that they're calling me out. So is it difficult? Yes, of course it's difficult. But let's remember, this is not about me. This is about the tragic murder of George Floyd by a police officer. We need to be grounded in that as we move forward.
We'd love to know your feelings on that Minneapolis mayor, because he was sobbing at the casket of George Floyd earlier at the funeral. So what does defunding the police mean? Jeff and I were talking about this earlier. Let's make sure we make this clear. According to the Black Lives Matter co-founder, it means shifting money away from the police and instead supporting people and services in marginalized communities. So what do we do here at DBL? We want to know what you think. Do you think police departments should be defunded and overhauled? Go to dblvote.com to weigh in. We're going to welcome our wonderful guest, Al. Al, how are you?
What's going on, Jeff? I always like to see the 1 second delay when Jeff switches cameras. It makes my day.
But Al, well, first of all, I just like seeing your face. I was going to make fun of you like you did me, Al. I was going to compliment you. But listen, that's how I know. There's little tally lights to give a little behind the scenes thing. I don't look at the tally lights. I wait for my face to be sideways, and I'm like, oh, this is my camera.
I'm on the right one. I'm on the right one.
All right, but yeah, we got some serious business to talk about here. I think we need to go a little bit further down this rabbit hole and talking about what defunding the police actually means, because there are people out there thinking that we don't need police in general. We should kind of police ourselves, and to me, that's insane. So I definitely want to go further down this rabbit hole and know that that is not the same thing.
Yeah, and to be very clear, and Al, I want to get your take on this. Just imagine an NYPD, right? They spend $6 billion on the NYPD. That's more than like education. That's more than communications. That's more than community policing. All of that combined. So what we're saying is spend more on the community and less on the cops, and you might have less crime. What do you think about that, Al?
I agree, and Jeff, I agree with you too, and I know that's like not a very strong stance to take, but you guys, we have to remember that the police have been defunded before. A couple of years ago in New York City, I don't know if you guys remember that viral video of that rat that was dragging that piece of pizza down the steps on the subway. At that exact same time we're watching that video, the New York City was defunded. It doesn't mean that it's not a dismantling of the police, so don't let that word scare you. It just means distributing the wealth into the community, and you guys have to remember, crime comes from somewhere. It's when people feel desperate. There are very few people that leave their house like, I'm just gonna snatch a purse today. People do that because they are desperate. So when you have other programs and other places for people to go to feel dignified, to earn a living, to take care of their family, they'll usually use them.
Yeah, I agree. So let us know what you guys think about defunding the police. Again, we want to make it clear, we're not disbanding anything. We're just trying to put more money into the community. And the vote right now is no. 57% do you think police departments should be defunded and overhauled? So no, 57%. So not a strong majority.
Again, I think people are confused, Tori, on what that is. Maybe they're not, but for me this morning when we were talking about in the morning meeting, I was like, let's be very clear before someone else spoke up. So I think it's on a lot of people's minds.
And I'm glad DBL is doing that. We're letting you know what we're actually discussing instead of just moving on. All right, Jeff, a vast majority of Americans agree on one thing. What do you think it is?
Pizza?
That's it. 8 out of 10 Americans say that things in this country are actually out of control. That's why I eat the pizza. That's 92% of Democrats, 66% of Republicans, according to a new NBC News Wall Street Journal poll. One of the people who's trying to do something about it is this man. This is Mitt Romney. He's the Republican senator, and he joined protesters during a Black Lives Matter march in Washington, D.C. yesterday. Just so you know, he is the first Republican senator to actually say the words, Black Lives Matter. It's not a partisan issue, it's an American issue. Now, a lot of people are asking, are the protests going to die down, and is that good or bad, and what do we need to keep the momentum going if the protests on the streets do come to an end? And Al, a lot of people are saying, are they doing anything? And I'm like, look at Minneapolis. Derek Chauvin got bumped up to second degree. A lot of things changing because of these protests, am I right?
Are they doing anything? I think it's a very strange question. I think that we're living in an unprecedented time, and if you look at the marches, everybody's saying that they're dying down. Did anybody see the footage of Philadelphia this weekend, of Berlin,
Yep.
of
Sydney, Australia? Yeah.
This is London. I mean, this is a global phenomenon. We have never seen. Yes, we had marches in Ferguson. We had marches in Baltimore. Those were kind of isolated. This is all 50 states. This is places that are in Republican districts. This is everywhere. There are marches. There are protesters because everyone is sick of it. Everyone's tired of it. And I think things are changing.
Yeah. Al,
so don't tell me that the riots are that the protests are dying down because you want to call them riots. That's ridiculous. Look at that. Use your eyes.
Very true. Jeff, do you think the protesters, and again, the peaceful protesters, the one that are sticking with it and not looting, are doing something?
I think they are. I think, when I watched that scene of people protesting around the world, as we alluded to earlier, it kind of moved me. I'm like, it feels like something this time. Me and Tori, again, were talking earlier in the dressing room, and she's like, could you believe this year how crazy it's been? And there's that meme going around, or I don't know, meme or just something that people are tweeting about or putting on their social media. It says, what if 2020 was the best year ever? What if it really did change things? And I feel like that's the direction that we're going. Again, and I don't want to get into protesters and riots. Even you slip there, Al. I slip sometimes. We have to separate those two. Yes. And know what people are peacefully protesting for.
Yes, absolutely. Well, after seeing all of the damage left by protesters, this 18-year-old, how about a good story, right? He's a high school senior from Buffalo. He grabbed a broom and some trash bags and then spent 10 hours last Monday cleaning up the streets so folks could get to work. Now he's been given a red Mustang convertible by one local man, a year's worth of free auto insurance by another, and a local college is giving him a full ride scholarship. This brought tears to my eyes only because I wanted some good news. You need something good, but also the idea of coming out as a community member and cleaning up. I think people didn't really show that in the media, and a lot of people showed up to clean up, Al. Am I right?
I saw it in real time, Tori. As you know, I went down to the protest here in Denver a couple of days, and there were people out there cleaning. There were people out there handing out water, handing out hand sanitizer. People are doing their part. There was not a lot of trash. There was graffiti, obviously, but there was people cleaning that off, too. So people are conscious that they do live in this community, that this is happening.
I do, and good on them, and happy for that Mustang man. I'm sure that's what he wants to be called.
Yes.
Al, stick around. Coming up on CBL, we're talking to the mom behind this viral video. She schooled non-black protesters for defacing a Starbucks in the name of Black Lives Matter, and she explains to us why she did it. Plus, the class of 2020 may not have had a traditional graduation, but some of the world's most famous people, they haven't forgotten about them, and it's still kind of lonely. I got Jeff, I got Patty, I got Rob. Hi, guys. But we want to let our know that our DBL employees produce the show from home, and we miss them during the pandemic. We'll be right back.
Pets are family.
Welcome back to DBL. Lizzo, man, is there anything she can't do? That was Lizzo performing the famous graduation anthem Pomp and Circumstance on the flute. She is a flautist, and that's how you say it. Flautist. She wasn't the only star who participated in the YouTube Originals event, Dear Class of 2020. The Obamas recorded a message, empathizing with students graduating amid a pandemic and protests. They stressed the importance of getting an education, with the former president calling it one of the best investments anyone can make. Look at those moves. Taylor Swift talked about missing her own graduation because she was on the road and told grads to expect the unexpected, but to celebrate anyway. Lady Gaga addressed racism in America and urged graduates to think about how they can affect real change. And on that subject of change, the one and only Beyoncé delivered a powerful message about how now is the time for marginalized people to have a seat at the table. Take a look.
To all those who feel different, if you're a part of a group that's called Other, a group that does not get the chance to be center stage, build your own stage and make them see you. Your queerness is beautiful. Your Blackness is beautiful. Your compassion, your understanding, your fight for people who may be different from you is beautiful.
There's nothing better than Beyoncé telling you that you're beautiful, to be super honest.
Were you inspired?
I was inspired by everybody. I just want to get from you guys lessons that you learned graduating that you think you can pass on. So Jeff, what is a lesson that you've really taken with you?
I mean, I gave a message to the class. We put it up on our DBL maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think, just for me personally, failure is the most important thing that you're ever going to overcome in life. And if you think that not graduating or walking across that stage is a failure, use that to your advantage, because later on in life you're going to understand that you're not going to learn from the good times. Good times happen, those things move on. It's always great to be good, but when you fail and you fall on your face and you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, I need to be a better person tomorrow so that doesn't happen to me again, use those moments, and that would be the message that I pass on to everybody else.
I love that. Fall 7 times, stand up 8.
That's right.
Japanese proverb. I hope I said that right. Al, what is a good lesson you took? You graduated like 200,000 years ago. What did you take from that?
I did. I graduated in the 1900s, Tori. Wow. You know, my girl and I were talking about it just randomly when we were walking the dog. Like, what would you tell the kids graduating? And I think we both came to the consensus that although you look at the world and you go, everything's in shambles, what's going on? And there's the economy's not great and all these things. But I'm like, look at this as an opportunity. Instead of walking into a world that's already pre-set up for you, where you need to figure out a way to fit in, think people aren't going to be going to the movies for a while. What people still want to see a movie. What's a better way to get them that experience? Maybe there's a new job there. Maybe you have to be innovative and in a way where people are going to be entertaining themselves differently, congregating differently. All of these things, companies are going to need to figure out how to throw their end of the year holiday party. How's that going to look? Create a company and figure it out.
I appreciate
Al just won the Oscar. He got played up.
I'm Meryl Streeping you. Al, we'll see you later in the show. Next on DBL, when a group of non-black protesters spray painted Starbucks, one mom knew she had to do something. Next, she tells DBL Nation why she felt compelled to call them out and post a now viral video. We get to talk to her next. Welcome back to DBL. Lindsay spoke to a mom who posted a viral video of her confronting two young women who appear to be white tagging a Starbucks. So let's take a look at that.
Hey, don't do that, ma'am. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. So what? They don't care about you guys. They don't care about us. They don't care about us. But you're not in for us. So you need to be, if you're going to tag Black Lives Matter, ask a black person if they want you to do that on their behalf. If they don't do it.
Courtney Nicole, I just want to start by saying thank you for supporting the Black Lives Matter movement and really putting yourself out there in order to protect and push for change.
I don't know how to answer a thank you to that. I think that's just innate. It's something that we do. So thank you.
So much of the media coverage has focused on rioting and looting and the negativity instead of the important reason why people are out there protesting. So when you saw this woman who wasn't black spray painting and messing up the Starbucks building, what did you immediately think?
I immediately felt betrayed and just like, why? You know, I don't want to say anger. You know, we have to be careful and responsible with our words right now, but I was hurt. So I really feel like the teacher, the mama, the auntie is what came out. And I think those are going to be the ones who are leading this movement right now, to be honest with you. We have to have some cultural humanity is what's happening. So I wanted to expose these young ladies. I felt very betrayed when I walked up and I saw, you know, people of other races and nationalities just standing around watching these young ladies do this in the name of Black Lives Matter.
Right, and you make it a point to emphasize that there are peaceful protests more often than not going on around the country. Why is that important to you?
I think most of us realize that we cannot fight this anger with anger right now. The complete opposite of anger, Lindsay, is love. And it's gonna take a lot of love to heal and start having some conversations that are uncomfortable. It's important that my culture, that my babies, that my great-grandchildren are able to exercise their right to assemble. The message of the movement is change. We need reform. We do not need you out here tagging a Starbucks. I like Starbucks, you know what I'm saying? Like, these are businesses and companies also too, Lindsay, that we need allyships with. And right now we're trying to take this all the way to the White House. I need Congress to start making some moves. My babies are being killed and I can't afford that, Lindsay. Too many of us are fighting because we cannot afford to meet this atrocity at our doorsteps. Black Lives Matter.
I completely agree, and I'm with you and on your side. And I just want to ask you, because you talked about being a mom, being an aunt, being an elementary and middle school teacher in your past. Tell me about what we can teach the kids in order to teach them change so that we're better tomorrow. So we're not having the same conversations that we had with our great-grandmothers, grandmothers, fathers, and mothers.
When all of these businesses, companies, schools open back up, there to be some racial guidelines, there to be some cultural guidelines. You see something, say something, right? How can we ask a child to speak up for their friends when they're being bullied, to tell a teacher when they're being bullied? And we're being bullied across these United States of America, and no one is speaking up for us but us. Until now.
We need people to take it on as their own issue. I completely agree. Courtney Nicole, I want to thank you so much for being an advocate and all the work you're doing in the community. Please stay safe.
And I appreciate what we're doing and what we're putting out. You know, we are documenting this. Our great-grandchildren will be able to see this. And I just really want most of us to be on the right side of history. So I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by...
Do you have a life insurance policy you no longer need? Now you can sell your policy.
Welcome back to DBL. Stephanie showed us some sweet, sweet deals. Here's today's DBL Deal Blast, presented, of course, by morningsave.com. Steph, what do you have for us today?
First up is this thermos 24-ounce hydration bottle with connected smart lid.
Whoa.
The smart lid calculates how much water you should be intaking, and that means you can monitor it on your smartphone, which is literally genius. Normally, these are $60, which I think is really reasonable, but right now it's $19, which means you're saving 68%. Now, if you're like me, Tori, and you want music everywhere you go, this is perfect. It's the Hypergear Mini Boom portable Bluetooth speaker. It's compact, it's wireless. Right now, it's $10. It used to be $50, which means you're saving 80%. Can you believe it? Now, you can zone out and tune into your favorite program with these Zone Wireless TV headphones for your own private listening.
Whoa.
So, you're not disturbing anyone. They're wireless. They can work up to 100 feet away from your television. And the best part is you can pair multiple different headphones to one TV. Normally, these are $60. Right now, they're only $25, which means you're saving 58%. I've got the 2-pack iWalk faux leather 7.5 to 10 watt quick charge wireless chargers. So this is perfect because you can just pop your phone on these wherever it is in the house. You know, it just means that you've got a lot more accessibility and your phone's not plugged in, so you can just like take your phone off at any moment. There's no wires, there's no cords. That's awesome. Normally they're $84. Right now they're only $20, which means you're saving 76%.
Head on over to morningsave.com to snag these amazing deals at the lowest prices. You can even visit morningsave.com on your smartphone. We were just talking about summer jams, and I'm gonna buy that speaker and listen to a little, like some Dave Matthews, some Stevie Nicks.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Little Counting Crows throw in there.
Love it.
We weren't watching that at all.
Nope. DBL is with you every day. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Good one.